Hey, beautiful teachers. Welcome back to another episode of Aligned and Thriving for Teachers, the podcast where we get real, raw, and pretty much just reflective about what it actually means to lead, to teach, and live aligned with a life that you absolutely deserve. Now, today's episode is a special one, and it really sits close to home. This one I'm going to call What They Didn't Teach You at Uni and the Emotional Side of Teaching. So let's start here. Has anyone else finished uni and stepped into their classroom on day one and thought, what the actual expletive am I doing here? Because same. My hand is up. I'm like, oh, pick me. I still can remember this day. And if this is also you, or if that's you, I just want you to know that you are absolutely not alone. Let's be honest. They don't teach you half the stuff you actually need to know to be in a classroom. Like, you get your pracs, sure. And you might even have had a few great mentor teachers. But when it comes to the daily emotional, mental, and just logistical demands of the job, you're left flying blind. I'm being really honest. So let's talk about what they don't teach you at uni. And I mean, I was at uni, 15, nearly 20, I'm not going to talk too loud, years ago. But I still can remember some of the stuff that I did there. I actually did an entire unit on school values and reasoning, which I don't even know what it had to do with anything. I just learned how to write a really good argument and then how to contradict myself in an argument, which I don't know. Does that teach you how to argue with parents? Because I don't really do that either. So I'm not sure what that subject was actually teaching me. But if you did go to university with me, you're probably nodding your head too and going, yeah. And the lecturer, I'm not sure. That was just a whole thing. Anyway, they don't teach you how to mark piles and piles of work when you've got a deadline above your head. They teach you how to write assignments. I got a high distinction in my music because I learnt what the lecturer really liked, and I wrote in a way that he would appreciate. And I got a high distinction because I just worked out he really liked it if you read the readings. So if you quoted the readings in your assignments, you got bonus points. Literally. That did not teach me anything about physically teaching children music. And I teach music now, which, yeah, I look back and go, I don't actually remember what I did in music. I know we marched around in a circle at one point, but yeah, it's just, yeah. They don't teach you how to input data, how to track your student growth, or how your school's reporting system even works. And every school tends to have a different one of those. Yes, you probably have your government system, you have a Catholic system, you have a private system. All of them have a different reporting system. I mean, you're lucky if you work in one system and you go from one school to another and they're consistent, maybe if you've learned. But over the course of my teaching career, I've had to learn at least 5 different reporting systems and how to navigate them. And I don't think I've mastered any of them because as soon as I think I've got it, they change something and I'm lost again. They don't teach you how to write reports when every school has a different format. They didn't teach me how to write report comments. That was a whole learning experience. And now we've changed again. So we give evidence of learning and have to educate parents on how to understand that. I don't know what was easier, writing the comments or now having to send these evidences of learning. I think I liked sending comments more because you got more out of it, because you get actually explain to the parent what their kid was actually like. And I definitely had some really nice mentor teachers that taught me how to write things about students without specifically saying things about the student, if that makes sense, which then taught me a lot about my own reports and thinking back to how they were written and going, oh, wow, they literally just said to my mum that I talked a lot and they couldn't understand how I was still getting my work done when I talked so much in the corner. I just learned how to do 2 things at once, and I still do that now. And I probably still talk too much. But the way that my report was written, it was really positive because they'd sort of weaved that in there. But they don't teach you that at uni. They don't teach you how to explicitly teach in a real world classroom where there's behavior needs and interruptions, and you've just got so much expectation on you as the teacher in the classroom, and it's all you. I mean, it's a lot. You go and get your degree, you've got your qualification, and then suddenly you're just managing all these behaviors. You're trying to differentiate. You've got data, you've got duties, you've got just 500 other expectations, and you're just supposed to know how to do it all. They're like, yay, you've graduated. Well done. Off you go into the world. Good luck to you. That's pretty much what it is. Like, I remember being left in my room all alone and just looking around going, okay, what now? Like, no one tells you what to do when you don't know what to do. It's like parenting. Honestly, when I had my twins, no one gave me a manual. I just had to figure it out. And sometimes, I guess the best way to learn is to just dive in and be okay with it. Like, I don't know. I had two at once and I actually don't know any different. I had two babies. I just learnt to deal with two babies. And then when I had friends that had one, I was like, oh, what do you do with the other hand? What do you do here? Oh, you could do so many things because now I've got a free arm. I'm not feeding two children. I'm only feeding one. Like, this is so easy. And then I have to think and go, no, it's not. It's not easy for them because they don't know any different. So it's the same for you in the classroom. Like, just because you have 12 kids and your friend has 24, it still doesn't make your job any easier because you still got kids, but you don't know any different. Just let's be honest, like, you don't have to do this alone. You do not have to do this alone. You have the power of people like mentors, and I can't stress this enough. Get yourself a mentor. Ask the questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question or a dumb question in teaching. Find someone that you trust, someone who gets it and gets you, and just lean on them. And if you don't have that person, let me be that for you. I will always be here to help and guide you through whatever it is you need guidance, because you need support, especially if you're in your first 1 to 5 years of teaching. That was my biggest growth moment. Like, those moments of teaching, I learned the most about myself, what I need to learn as a teacher, and I learned a lot about what is actually involved in teaching. And that's where we have that biggest window of where teachers are actually leaving the profession, because they're not getting that support that they really require in that first 1 to 5 years when we're shaping you. It's like kids. When you have kids, you've got that birth to 4 range, which is where they have the most growth. So this is basically your early career development as a teacher. I mean, I know why, like, we class early career teachers as 1 to 3, I think, but it really should be 1 to 5, because that is your biggest growth moment in that window of time. And every school is completely different. Now, I have to apologize, because if you do hear loud tractor farming noises in the background, as I said, this is real life, and I'm recording in my office, which is right next to a paddock. And my wonderful husband must be redoing the fencing for the cows. So if there's tractor noises going past, I'm very sorry. I'm hoping the mic doesn't pick that up. But now you're just picturing it in your head. So yeah, what university doesn't teach you about teaching is that you also have a life outside of teaching that you have to manage, as well as your teaching load. So I'll just link that in there. But I'll go back. So every school is different. And I'm talking from experience here, because I've worked at a lot of schools, not specifically by choice, like not me choosing to leave. Like, if you go back to my first episode, I talk about the fact that I had to move. So then I had to move schools, and situations changed and things like that. But it was a blessing in disguise, because what makes the job even more complicated is that every school has its own system, its own expectations, and they all come with their own culture. And what works in one place, it might not work in another. And if you've only been in that one school, you might not even realize what's possible or what isn't normal. And that's why it's sort of important that you expose yourself to different school environments, different teaching philosophies, different leadership styles, all of those things. So if you ever get the opportunity to go and observe other teachers in other environments, you put your hand up and go, because you can be exposed to all those different things. And if you are coming from a small school, you can go to a big school and have a look at what's happening there and what works for them. because we need to know what's going on and share with each other, because you never know if you might support someone else or if they might support you. And they don't teach you that in uni. They don't turn up and say, oh, you'll get a job here and this is what it's going to look like, or you go to this school and this is what that's going to look like. You don't know that. We do try and give you opportunities by sending you on placements at different schools. And what I specifically did when I did my pracs is I made sure I went to a really, really, really hard school that I knew was rough first, as one of my first ones. And then I sort of worked my way around to easier ones. So I got a good picture of what it was like to work in a tough school, hard to staff, and what it was like to work in a small school, in a big school. Like, just get yourself experience in lots of different areas and you'll get a feel for what's really going on. Because, look, the emotional load of everything is real, and no one talks about the emotional toll of this job, except me. If you listen to me, I'm talking about it. But you've got this pressure to perform, like the tears that you shed when you feel like you are failing your students or even yourself, the guilt when you leave work early to go to your own kid's soccer game or to go catch up with your friends, just the internal battles when a student lashes out at you and you have to carry that hurt with you all day. It's a lot. But what if we gave ourselves permission to talk about it? What if we stop pretending that we're supposed to have it all together all the time? You're allowed to not have it all together all the time. And I've told you that before, but they don't teach you that at uni. They just expect that you're going to be amazing. You graduate and you're supposed to go and be amazing, but you are going to learn a lot. In that first window of time, you are going to grow and it's going to make or break you. I will be honest. And you need to learn to not take things to heart. And that was a big learning experience for me. No one taught me that at uni. I was told that by some mentor teachers, that you've got to not wear your heart on your sleeve because it will just get pulled off, stomped all over, and chucked back at you in your face. So you need to have a thicker skin and start working on that. And just remember, just because that student lashed out at you does not mean that they hate you. They're obviously got lots of stuff going on with them, but you're just the one who's copped it. And that's what I had to learn myself. So you're allowed to not know it all. You're allowed to feel completely and utterly overwhelmed. And you are definitely allowed to ask for help. And the beauty is that you will learn, you will grow, you'll figure out how to manage your time, your systems, and your sanity, but only if we drop this perfection and start talking about the real emotional labor of actually teaching and being in a classroom full time. So, some practical tools to help with your emotional well-being. So, what you need to know right now, if you are a beginning teacher, even if you're an experienced teacher, like this applies to me, your emotional health as a teacher, you need to create yourself some boundaries. When you're off, you're off. Okay? You're allowed to have a life. Go back to my boundaries episode to help you learn how to do that. Have regular check ins with yourself. Ask yourself, how am I really doing? You need to track that. You need to have some self care. You need to decompress daily. However you do that, that works for you, whether it's journaling or going for a walk or venting to your teacher bestie or playing music in your classroom after the bell, you need rituals. You need routine to help you decompress at the end of your day. And honestly, I've shared all of mine before, but sometimes I think when I was a beginning teacher, before I was working lots on my mindset, um, I was doing lots of stuff like watching really trashy TV shows. Like now it's The Secret Life of the Mormon Housewives or whatever they are, because you just don't have to think and you can just switch off. So you can just like, and take that deep breath and just melt into the moment. But now for me, it's more like just journaling to get it all out, having a bit of time to meditate, and then just getting on with life and setting myself up for family time instead. So things change, your routines will change, but you need to decompress daily. And you need to celebrate your small wins. Even on your really, really hard days, you can find something that was a win in that day. I can remember one of the hardest classes I ever taught. It was a prep class at the time. I had a rough day every day, but I would always find something. There were some really beautiful kids in that class too. And they would just like, one would bring me a flower. And I was like, oh, well, today I got given a daisy and got told that I looked really pretty or that my hair looked nice, or that they really enjoyed the story that we did or the dance that we were doing. Just those little things. And when, they're doing their sounding out and someone actually managed to blend a word and they haven't been able to blend a word for a week. And I was like, yes, that's a win. I'll take that. Just celebrate those little moments. You need to find or build your community, whether that's online or at your school or with me, wherever. You need to get yourself some support and get yourself a little village to support you and just help you through and make sure you're asking those questions and have those check-in times and all of those things. They're not going to tell you that at uni. They might tell you that, yes, you need to look after yourself and yes, you need to look after your emotional well-being, but how? How do you do that? Well, you create some boundaries, you check in with yourself, you decompress, you celebrate your wins, and you get yourself some support in a community, okay? That's what I want you to do. And they're not going to teach you that, but I am. Then I want you to think about these as well. So you can have some time to actually reflect. You can come back to these at any time. And these are like, whether you're a beginning again or experienced, but what do I wish someone had told me about teaching? Like when you start or when you have been teaching for a while, what is it that you wish someone told you about teaching? I wish someone had told me that it's okay if you stuff up as long as you recover, because I stuffed up a heck of a lot and I probably still do. But just recover, like come back from that, bounce back and get going, because the kids actually don't care and they don't remember. You might think they do, but they actually don't. The activity that you do instead might be like amazing and they remember that instead. Where are you being too hard on yourself? Where are you being too hard on yourself? I was constantly really hard on myself and I really set my expectations way too high when I started. I pretty much pushed myself to burnout because I set way too high expectations. And I do that a lot in life, and I've had to learn to sort of pull back because I can succeed with a bar that I've set and I can smash that out of the park as long as I'm focusing on me first. What parts of the emotional load feel the heaviest on you right now? And is there anything that you could do to help lighten that load? Okay. So for me, lots of my emotional load was taking on other people's negative energy and their negative comments. And so I had to learn strategies on how I don't do that and how I learn to remember that that toxic energy is not mine to carry. But I can do these things to help me. And if you need help with that, like go back to my episode on toxic energy and all of those things, and that will help explain that to you a bit further. And what do I want teaching to feel like for me? Okay. What do you want teaching to feel like for you? For me, I want teaching to feel fun. I want to look forward to it every day like I do at the moment, but that's because that's my mindset. I turn up knowing that every day is going to be a new adventure and I'm going to have fun with it. And I love what I do. So you need to picture what you want teaching to feel like for you, because you're the one who's going to create that, because it's your thoughts and your actions that's actually going to make that happen. Okay. So some affirmations for you just to keep you in the right vibe, to get you up and about. I want you to remember these, say them to yourself, write them down if you need to so you can repeat them back. These are really good mirror ones to tell yourself in the mirror. Okay, so I am doing enough. I am enough. I am allowed to learn as I go. My impact as a teacher goes beyond the data. I choose to release perfection and honor progress. I trust myself to figure it out. Those are some really important affirmations. I really love the one about I choose to release perfection and honor progress. Progress over perfection every single time. Okay, just remember that, because teaching is beautiful. It's chaotic. It's an emotional roller coaster, but while uni can prepare you with lots of theory, but the heart of this work is your heart. It is something that you strengthen day by day and year by year. You don't need to have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out, and I've been teaching for a while now. You just need to stay open to growing, to feeling, and to learning. And if no one's told you lately, you are still doing an incredible job. Okay. Because as teachers, we need to still be learners and we still need to grow. That's why we have professional learning. I'll do an episode on that another time because some of you, I know, if you've been teaching a while, you roll your eyes at professional learning, but we do need it. Okay, guys, but we do make the worst students. We pretty much mimic the worst students that we have in our class that drive us nuts and all those behaviors. They all come out in PL. I have seen them all. I've run PLs before, and I have seen all of those horrible habits. And I'm like, guys, you hate it when kids do that in your classroom. So why do it to me? But I get it. So, beginning teachers, you are doing an incredible job and keep learning. Experienced teachers, you keep learning too. But please reach out to me anytime. Connect with me on Instagram or Facebook because I am here for you. I am part of your community. My community is all here for you because you've got this. So until next time, stay aligned, keep thriving, and I'll talk soon, my teacher friends. Bye, guys.